All right, I'm kind of hiding from the wind here. The wind isn't crazy bad, but I'm worried it's gonna... There's an eagle. Yeah. Not sure if you can see that little tiny dot. It's closer in my view. Well, it's coming this way though. Sorry, distracted. Yeah, the wind's not actually that bad, but I'm worried it's gonna mess with my mic, and I don't have fancy gadgets to deal with that. So I'm hunkered in this little spot between this nice full-on cottonwood tree that made its way down this river at some point in its life, and chilling by this pool of water. So this is my spot. I'm staying out of the wind. But yeah, I'm down here in the Matanuska River Valley, which is a river that winds its way through Palmer, the city where I live here, and but it goes all the way up to the Matanuska Glacier, and then eventually ends up, it drains in, joins with the Kinnick, I believe, and winds its way out, dumps into the inlet and makes its way on out to the ocean. So salmon run up here and spawn more in this area. They're spawning by this time. But anyway, I'm wandering down here. This is a different spot than what I normally wander at. I came in on a trail and then ditched it and pushing in, because it's interesting to see this river at different places where it moves. When I was a kid, there's a spot further downstream that I used to spend a lot of my time. I think I've done some videos in that area before, actually, and that area's been interesting because the river used to flow, because this river, there's no dams or anything to tell this river where to go. It's full-on wild, which means it covers, you know, like this whole area. It's only ever running strong in one section of it, but it whips and turns and braids and does what it wants every season, and takes out, erodes away the land, and it's far from tame. But that's one of the things that's kind of awesome about it. Probably doesn't make living on the bluffs as nice as some people might like it, but or as predictable as some people might like it, but it's as far as enjoying the beauty and wildness of nature, here it is. So anyway, back where I used to wander, it's interesting because the river used to flow there like when I was a kid, and then it kind of retreated out to the other side of the opposite bank, and then into my teen years and things like that, I started seeing trees grow up in that area. A lot of things like this little brushy stuff started to sprout up, breaking the ground, and so it's cool seeing the land change, you know, like and now there's a lot of tree cover in that area. So anyway, wandering this area, seeing what it's all about. It's pretty open. I wasn't sure how far I'd be able to get because I had to cross just a small stream there. There's different freshwater streams and then also little thin portions of the river, but the main river, I don't mess with that because there's that silt, and I don't mess with crossing on that, on the big stuff. So just seeing what it lets me do here on the land is what I'm up to today. Only got a couple hours to wander. Haven't filmed a lot. Should probably throw that out there. The road trip was awesome. Go back to those videos and watch them if you care. But even those I didn't film. Town didn't talk a lot. It was kind of an important time for me to just wander and to be. And I need more of that in my life. I think we all do. And so I don't know what that means for how I film these videos. This definitely does not take priority to my own feet being on the ground. So anyway, but I'm filming today, so let's go from there. But yeah, a little windy, so I might not talk a ton unless I find more cottonwood trees to shelter me. But I'm going to see, it looked like there's a stand of spruce trees across the way, and that might be on the other side of the river, but if not, I want to investigate that. That's kind of straight that way, so I'm going to head that way and see how far I can get. A stand of spruce trees is right there in the distance. Not sure if that comes in on the camera. Wind isn't too bad. Not sure if this audio is coming in. I guess I'll find out later. Comes in gusts every now and then. This silt is some fine stuff. That's actually not even the thinnest of it, so the really fine stuff picks up even the softer gusts. So see some of it going down there. Saw this water a while back there and I thought it was gonna stop me, but it's just a little trickly here. Some of these spots won't be accessible once spring hits and all the snow melts. Ooh, comes out of the mountain. All the snow melt comes out of the mountain. Then stuff will be high and swift in some places. But you never know. Like, maybe we won't even run through this little area. 'Tis mysterious. Looks like I got lucky and I'm going to be able to get to the little spruce island. This is all I got in my way and I can cross it easy enough right there. So, yeah, Spruce Island. Yeah, I don't know why this little idea of getting over here to the spruce trees appealed to me, but it's kind of fun. I think just because it's its own. Hear those birds? I think it's just cool because it's its own little environment, you know? There's one thing going on out here, and in the trees I came from to get here, this is a thicker, denser, probably older forest. Kind of cool to explore a bit. Yeah, I'll wander around in here for a little bit. Check out this little tuft of moss I found. Just chilling all by itself right here. Soft. I found the other side of the island. Figured it had to be there somewhere because the main river's got to come through. Some more exploring over here though. Oh, the wind picked up, or this is just the windy side of the island? Kind of interesting. There's like another sort of tree island over there. A stream going on here. Some old trees over here that don't seem to like to live there anymore. It's just cool seeing the different things that this wild river does, and then obviously the erosion, massive erosion. That's how it does. This is another one of those cool areas that this wild river creates. This is like a stand of, I don't know if those are aspen and poplar. I get them mixed up, and they also hybridize, or whatever that word is, so it gets confusing. But what I'm trying to make here is look at all this gravel and sand and stuff that's either blown in or been driven in with the water when it rises. And we got some good high water last summer. Spring and summer, but I mean these aren't rock trees. They don't just shoot up out of this kind of material. So at some point, for a good amount of time, based on, you know, it's an older tree there, not crazy old, but I mean these trees were chilling here, had some version of an island to themselves, similar to what I came through out there. And then the river decided to come up and move through here for who knows what amount of time, and it has left these in a different state of things. But they're still living, so I don't know. But yeah, makes for an interesting environment. Walking around with sand and trees at the same time, kind of cool. Ducked into these trees so that my mic doesn't get wind blasted for a second. Yeah, found the river. It's not looking too bad. A lot of times it's a lot more gnarly than that. I don't know about this particular spot, because like I said, I haven't been in this particular spot in like the late summer and later on in the spring and stuff, so who knows what form it will take. But yeah, got almost to the opposite side of the valley, which is fun, so I got to play in all these different little tree islands. This is another one, this one that I'm in, it's can't remember if I got a shot of it coming up to it, but it's a little more like, it's got the sand floor, kind of like that one spot of aspen, but it's got the spruce trees still going, and I think further in it might have some better soil for the trees. But I'm kind of guessing that when the river gets high, it's been sweeping through here because there's sand. So anyway, interesting stuff. So I got a little bit more time on the clock before I got to head back. I do have a something I got to get to after this. But I'm not even quite at my halfway point yet, so I'll probably wander around. Maybe I can't go that way. So maybe I'm gonna go that way farther because I want to get a closer look at that eroded cliffside. It's kind of neat. And then I might just do a slow meandering path back in the general direction of where I started, so I get some different stuff. I decided to sit here with this little on this cottonwood bench with my river view. Sounds of the river kind of fun to listen to right now. I eat my fig bar thing. There's a bald eagle perched up there, so I'm kind of having a moment, I think. I don't know if the eagle knows it, but we're having a moment. Got closer to this. It's kind of cool. Just seeing what the land does with time and river flowing, winds hitting it, and rock exposing, soft spots falling, whole trees and forests collapsing into there and running down to. It's kind of cool. Erosion like that can be like super inconvenient too. My grandpa actually has a farm perched on the edge of this river, and he lost, I can't remember how many acres to this river when it used to flow there down along his property. He just ate his land. His farm was flowing, and then the river switched to the other side of the valley, and that was that. But you know, in other places where they control the rivers and they set up dams, which can also provide energy and reroute water, like the whole Salt River project there in Arizona, the whole series of lakes takes that water. And anyway, so there's things you can do with it and there's value to it, but there's something kind of cool being able to be in a place like this where you just get this raw element of nature and just get to appreciate the way chews his way through the land and can still live in harmony with it and all that good stuff. But it's like a way of getting to know nature. It doesn't have to put on a fancy suit for you. It's here in all its beauty, all its light and shadows, everything, the cold, the harshness, but also the softness. So, you know, you get the whole spectrum. And I'm going the wrong way, so I'm gonna I think I'm gonna go through the forest again. There's a path I can skip around the forest that I thought about going, but I think I'm just gonna shoot straight and see where that takes me. It'll get me through a different part of the forest than what I came through on the way here, and then that'll put me on a different path home. Found a little spot where the river comes through here sometimes, looks like. This might even be a freshwater. There's some freshwater springs that pop up in some areas that feed some of these, and then they feed into the main river sometimes, or sometimes they just meander on in their own way. So I don't know which this one is. This snow melt, but the way it's run through here, a lot of times the river will come up just seasonally high, and then it'll run through all kinds of routes wherever it can, even like those forest spots I was looking at earlier. Let's see if I can not make a mess of this situation. I survived. Yeah, I didn't come across this on my way here. Like I say, I'm taking a slightly different path through the forest, but it splits off. It does a Y thing, so it looks like it covers a good amount of this forest. So I'm surprised I didn't run into it as I made my way through before. There's a ton of trees that are falling out here. Big old underside of the roots there. I think the ground in this forest, with the water coming in and out the way it does, probably isn't the most secure flow for forest growth. Ooh, tree bridge. But and also there's just some high winds that come cooking across this. Check this tree bridge out. A lot of these trees I would not do this with because they've been here for a while, but this one's thick and looks pretty solid. And it was solid. I don't know why that's fun. Like we do it as kids, you know, walk across every little log we see. But it's still fun. Been coming across lots of moose sign, mostly poo, in this forest, but a lot of them might be from winter. But I just found this little set of tracks here, and they're squished into this mud the same way mine are, so some of that stuff's old though. Yeah, haven't actually seen a moose in a bit. It's been a weird winter. There hasn't been much snow down in the valley. The mountains have gotten it, but usually we see a lot more moose in the winter because they're coming out of the snow areas and trying to find something to nibble on. But been having all their parties somewhere else, I guess. So the river's starting to come in sight, the river valley again, the openness. So I'm about to get back in the wind, but before I do, I want to take advantage of this unwinded mic situation if you don't know about my books, I got these 2 books that I wrote, just kind of some of my nature wanderings, and just because nature's been helpful for, like I talk about, my healing path. But then not just healing though, it's like I think it started that way, more as healing, but then it kind of became more started finding that it was more than just fixing my broken parts that nature was doing for me, but it was helping me be my more full self, you know. That road trip was an amazing experience for all that. That's kind of why I ducked out of a lot of the filming during that time, is there was a lot of stuff that was kind of really hitting that spot, you know, and I just kind of felt that sense that I needed to make sure I wasn't getting distracted with creating these videos and things like that. So that's something I always try to be mindful of, but especially with how hard that trip was hitting me, like in a good way it was hitting me, then I wanted to respect that. But yeah, little plug there for my videos. You can find them, I have links somewhere. I don't really promote these books very much, so that's why I'm trying to like get them out. I'm not concerned with making the sales in the books. I'm wanting those who want to read about that kind of stuff, who resonate with that kind of stuff. I want those people to be able to read it. So yeah, like I have links, I believe, in if you go to my channel thing. Also, if you go to my adventureryan.com website, there's links there, and it's sold through Amazon. So Wild Stillness by Ryan Saunders, that's me, or Exploring Wildness is my second one. Exploring Wildness hasn't actually got out there a ton. Maybe people read the first one, decided they didn't want to read the second one, I don't know. Exploring Wildness is a different animal though, so yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, and do it. Like I say, I don't like promoting it because I'm not really into it for making the sales. I only make like a couple bucks off the, because you got to pay the machine to print your book and do all that, and then and I do make a couple bucks off the thing, but I mean, crap, I worked hard on them, so give me a break. But yeah, so check them out. Taking a detour from my path because this river takes so much. It takes whole houses, little cabins, and vehicles. You find all kinds of stuff out here just because it erodes in sometimes. Like last year we had kind of an emergency situation where it took out a section of the road and ate up a lot during that. So it doesn't take just these trees in that you see all over. There's some kind of board there, but there's a big old square thing up here, big old square thing, and I'm curious what it is, so I'm investigating the big old square thing. See it right over there. What we got here? A file cabinet, a refrigerator, bank vault. This stuff doesn't get dumped here like this. This is carried, I mean, this is a log jam. It doesn't seem like it because it's surrounded by dry land, but this all got pushed here. It is a fridge. Check this out. I mean, not that there isn't garbage that's to be found that does get thrown away or dumped, you know, just like any place, but wow, that's crazy. Thing is buried halfway in silt, sand, rock, debris of all type. It's pretty crazy. This river has some force. It seems gentle sometimes, but I wonder if there's food in there. I'm hungry. But yeah, this river can seem gentle, but it carries some force. I mean, I don't know how many miles long it is, but it comes way up there, comes out of the glacier there, and then sweeps its way down this valley. Wind decided to pick up a bit. Found some water. This is crossable, but it would be a wet sort of crossable. Whoa, that was a big feather. Wow. Some leaves starting to show sign.